All right, let's get real about studying. We're about to climb something I like to call the learning ladder, and we're going to uncover a simple, powerful truth. How you study is so much more important than how long you study. It's an idea that can totally change the game for you. So let's dive in.
Does this sound a little too familiar? You know the feeling, right? You put in the hours, you've got the highlighters out, you're rereading everything, but then the test comes and it feels like your brain is just empty. It's super frustrating, and it happens to almost everyone. But the fix isn't what you probably think it is.
And this is the absolute heart of it. It's not about grinding for more hours. It's about making the hours you do spend count for way, way more. So let's break down what that actually means.
So think of this ladder as our roadmap. We're going to meet 4 different types of learners, each one on a different step, and you'll see just how wildly different their results are. We're going to start right at the bottom.
Okay, here we are at level 1, the passive approach. Honestly, this is where a lot of us start out, and it is by far the least effective way to learn anything.
So, who is this person? Well, let's call them the passive memorizer. This is the student who kind of thinks that if they just sit in the same room as their textbook, the information will somehow magically seep into their brain.
The actions here are all about doing the bare minimum. You know, it's when your eyes are scanning the page but your mind is a million miles away. Or maybe you're repeating a definition over and over without ever stopping to ask, wait, what does this actually mean? There's no real engagement, no practice. It's just information going in one ear and right out the other.
And the result? Well, it's no surprise. You get incredibly low understanding. Any information you learn this way just vanishes. It's like trying to write your name in the sand at the beach. The very next wave just comes and washes it all away.
All right, let's climb up a rung to level 2. This is the active but alone method. Now, this is a big step up from being passive for sure, but it's got one major flaw.
Let's meet the solo achiever. This person is definitely putting in the work. They're engaging with the material, but they're doing it all by themselves.
Now, the solo achiever does a lot of stuff right. They're taking notes, they're trying to piece things together, they're working hard. But here's the catch. Because they're working in a vacuum with no feedback, they have no idea if they're actually getting it right. They could spend hours memorizing the wrong formula and not even know it.
And that's exactly why this method tends to hit a ceiling at around 40% comprehension. It's a huge improvement, don't get me wrong, but just being active isn't the whole story. There's a massive piece of the puzzle still missing.
Okay, get ready for this, because this next step, it's a huge leap. We're at level 3, the reviewer's edge. This is where things get serious, and where the results just, well, they explode. Meet the deep diver. This person gets it. They understand that learning isn't a one-and-done kind of thing. Nope, it's a cycle of reinforcing what you know and connecting it all together.
The deep diver has some seriously powerful tools. They're all about active recall, which means they're constantly testing themselves instead of just passively rereading. They review stuff over and over to make it stick. And this is so important, they actually look for their mistakes so they can fix them. And then they start connecting ideas from different lessons together.
And the impact is, wow. We're jumping from 40% all the way up to 90% comprehension. How is that even possible? Well, by adding that review process, you're forcing your brain to pull that information out of storage, which makes the mental pathways stronger every single time. It's the difference between just recognizing something and truly, deeply understanding it.
So 90% sounds pretty amazing, right? But what could possibly be better than that? Let's climb to that final rung. Level 4, the mastery method. This is the absolute peak of learning effectively.
And at the very top of our ladder, we have the master and mentor. This student doesn't just learn things for themselves. They learn it so well that they can turn around and teach it to somebody else.
So this learner does everything the deep diver does, but then they add a secret sauce. 2 ingredients, really: teaching and collaboration. Think about it. When you have to teach something, you have to organize your thoughts in a totally new way. You have to simplify it, you have to think of examples, you have to guess what questions someone might ask. It is the ultimate test of what you really know. And that right there, that is what gets you to 100% understanding. See, true mastery isn't just about knowing the right answer. It's about being able to explain why it's the right answer. This is probably the single most powerful learning hack there is.
Okay, so we've climbed the whole ladder. Let's bring it all back home. How can you actually start building your own learning ladder and completely change how you study? It's a pretty clear path when you lay it out. First, just get active. Stop just reading and start doing something with what you learn. Second, review, review, review. Make it a habit to look back at old material. Third, start making connections. And finally, if you want total mastery, try to teach it to someone else.
Which brings us to the most important question of all. And this one's for you. Look, this isn't about leaping from the bottom to the top in one go. It's just about taking the next step. So looking at this ladder, what's just one small thing you can do today, in your very next study session, to climb just one rung higher?